So here is our truss device that we're going to use to destroy your poor little truss. So notice the setup. We have two around the room. We have one in the back left corner, and we have one kind of on the other back right corner that you guys can play with. Now we have our force sensor that's attached to a wheel down at the bottom. Make sure that it is hooked up to a Go link, like we did for our simple machines, and hooked into the USB port of your computer. Now we have a hook right here. We're not actually going to hook that onto the truss. We're going to hook that onto this other little clip that I'll show you how to use in just a second. So you're going to take your truss like we have right here, and you're actually going to slip it behind the two brackets. There should be some duct tape that shows you where to go, and you're going to have it rest on these two pegs that you see here so everything is nice and stable. Now you're going to take the brace device that we have here, and you're going to slip it on either side of the truss itself. So one leg is behind your truss, one leg is in front of your truss. I know it's kind of hard to see with the brace in the way. And you're going to take the little shaft and you're going to insert it into the little black plastic pieces so it kind of bridges the gap. And this will allow us to attach to this brace instead of to your truss itself. So all of the force should be on the very tippy top joint. So now you're going to take your force sensor like we see here, this little hook, and you're going to hook that around the shaft that you just inserted into the black plastic bushing. And I'm going to struggle with this for a little bit, but essentially what you're going to do is you are going to wind up the string in this little crank system that we have. The way I have it set up, if I turn the wheel kind of towards me, it's going to tighten it, and I'm just going to leave it so there's just a little bit of tension there, just like we see here. And now that everything's set up, I'm actually going to loosen it up and take off the Logger Pro sensor because now we're ready to hop onto the computer. So on the community desktop, you're going to go over to Logger Pro and open that up. And we've used this before. Big thing is make sure you still have the force down there since your sensor should be open and ready to go. The first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to make sure that your units are good and you're zeroed out. So go to Experiment and click on Change Units. Make sure that we are in newtons for our purposes. Do the same thing, Experiment, go down to 0. Make sure that your force sensor is not hooked up to anything so that we get an actual 0 measurement. And now you are ready to torture your truss. Now, when you are ready to collect your data, you are going to hit the collect button on your computer. Now, the trick is you only have 10 seconds to get all the data that you need. So once your partner hits collect, you need to rotate that wheel slowly and steadily, but make sure you get one good clean break before you stop. So once you have this data like we see here, we can see the peak is exactly where that truss actually broke, but we need to figure out where that is. So if you go up to Analyze and click on Statistics, you want to use the maximum value, not the force that you see in the bottom left-hand side. Now, part of this process is you need to provide evidence of your data. So you need to go into your snipping tool, and I have a lot of trouble with this. It doesn't actually work for me for some reason, probably because of the video stuff. But you're going to take a snip of that image and email it to yourself so that you have access to it. So once I have that ready to go, remember there's a little bit of post-processing you need to do. So you need to make sure that you can get your truss out of the truss destroyer, right? Remove all that stuff. And you'll be taking some images on where exactly it broke because we're going to be able to compare some of the data to where that actually broke. So you can see there's kind of a nice clean break on the right side, kind of where we predicted based on the MD Solids model. And I stopped immediately once we had a nice clean break.